Yes, I grew up in the Garfield Ridge area. I attended St. Daniel's grade school. I went to Marmion Military Academy for high school and Benedictine University for college and chiropractic school in Davenport, Iowa. My parents still live in the neighborhood, so do my wife and myself. We have 4 children that attend St. Daniel's as well, so it's kind of come full circle.
Can you explain what is chiropractic?
Chiropractic is a healing art that deals with the alignment of the spine for the cause of disease. So when you have things that are out of alignment, they put pressure on nerves, and what we do is find those things that are out of alignment and move them into alignment, and then things work better.
How is the chiropractic approach to healing different than the medical approach?
The chiropractic approach is a more holistic approach. We work with the muscles and ligaments depending on where the problem is. If it's in the neck area, you have nerves that exit out, and if you have a pinch in that area, then you could get headaches or pain down your arm. If it's in the lower back, you could get pain in the lower back area or down your leg. So our approach is to get to what's causing the problem. The medical approach, usually if you have a musculoskeletal problem, they will give you muscle relaxants or pain pills, and that for a short term might help, but it's not really solving the problem. So we try to incorporate the structure of the spine and for the healing of disease, as well as nutrition and the whole holistic approach.
How did you get interested in chiropractic?
My uncle was a chiropractor, and my brother-in-law hurt his back playing tennis, and he wasn't able to walk. So my uncle had gone over to the house, and that was in Brighton Park at the time, and I was able to watch him rehabilitate him to be able to walk again. So I always wanted to do something health related, and I thought that would be something that would be good. My personal self, I had gone to my uncle as well. I had dizziness. Now my dad's a pharmacist and my mom's a nurse, and I didn't really have any pain in my neck, so I don't know why they brought me there. I was on the swim team in high school and doing flip turns and different things, but he took some x-rays of my neck, and I had a couple bones turned one way and a couple turned the other, and then after he straightened that out, my dizziness was gone, so it was really a positive. So I saw that there were more things than just back pain that chiropractic could help.
What types of people would benefit from chiropractic?
We have all ages that come in. We have little kids, we have seniors, we have sport people. The little ones are usually parents, our patients, and they understand how chiropractic works. So if you have a newborn and the OB was in a hurry maybe to get the baby out, sometimes they may have a kink in their neck. So they can't communicate to you what their problem is, so they'll cry. And that's colicky. They're typically labeled as a colicky baby. So we will check their neck, and a lot of times they can have a kink or a misalignment in that area. And it's just a finger pressure. It's really easy with little kids. And they tend to benefit a lot from that. Seniors, they have a lot of times arthritis and degeneration, so they have years of wear and tear on their spines. So sometimes you have to use a little bit more caution with them. Athletes, I just completed a 3-year program for a diplomat in orthopedics, and that was going through the elbows and wrists and shoulders and different problems that people could have due to injuries in those areas. So we like to work a lot with athletes as well.
Any success stories that stand out over the years?
We've had a lot of patients with lower back pain that were in tears, or they had to have people help them get into the office, and through a course of treatment got a lot of improvement, and we're real happy. In the neck area, we've had people with radiating pains down the arms, carpal tunnel issues, migraine headaches. One person that stands out in particular was a woman who was in her 70s, and I had worked with her son in high school, and after she had him like 35 years ago, he was 35 I think at the time, when he was born is when she first started getting the headaches. So now she's 70 coming into me and suffering with headaches for all these years, bad migraines, where she'd have to be in a dark room and she would be nauseated and just terrible. So he had been a patient of mine, and he had been telling her, why don't you try chiropractic, because she had tried pretty much everything else. And so she finally came in, and we took some x-rays of her neck and found that she had some bones out of place in those areas. And after we started working on her, within a couple weeks she noticed a reduction in her migraines, and then in a while then she wasn't getting them at all. So she was very happy. So that was nice. It's just sad that some people don't know about chiropractic and could be suffering with things for years, only to find out they could be helped if they would try it.
How do you think that you could spread the word about chiropractic so people know to come in?
Well, a lot of times it's word of mouth. Patients that have had good results, like her son in particular, had gotten good results. His wife actually was a patient of mine as well, and she had migraine headaches, and we had helped her. So he thought it would be easy for her if she saw that her daughter-in-law had benefited. Well, then maybe she could benefit too. So a lot of times people who have friends that have problems and they tell them about it. I have the woman who cuts my hair. She had one of her clients, as she's cutting her hair, she was talking about carpal tunnel problems that she was having. She's like, oh, I'm going for surgery. And she's like, well, have you ever tried chiropractic? And she's like, no, I didn't know that was something that could help. So she told her to come over by us, and the woman was very happy that she did, because she didn't end up having to go for the surgery.
How are you celebrating your anniversary?
We are offering 2 views of x-rays of an area at no charge and an initial exam at no charge. This way it gives the people an opportunity to come in and try chiropractic without a lot of upfront cost, and they can see if there would be something that we would be able to help them with.
Does insurance cover chiropractic care?
Yes, we are Blue Cross Blue Shield providers, so a lot of city workers, policemen, firemen have that insurance. We also accept other insurances. People who are in car accidents or workman's comp cases, we also treat them. One of the most interesting stories that we had, we studied in school how the nerves in the lower back will, obviously they affect the muscles and ligaments, but they also go around to your organs. So some people may have digestive issues, constipation, diarrhea, different things like that that they don't want to really talk about, but they are bothered by it. And I've had patients with working on their lower back that afterwards they're like, oh, I didn't mention it to you when I first came in, but I've had problems with constipation, and after the adjustments I've noticed improvement in that department. One of my favorite stories is I had a woman who was having a hard time getting pregnant, and her husband had come in, and his family I had known through growing up, and he came in for radiating pain that was going down his arm. And I had heard from other people in the family that they were trying to get pregnant, but they weren't successful. So when the husband came in, I kind of gently mentioned to him, like, oh, have you ever thought about maybe having your wife come in? And he's like, well, yeah, we've been trying to get pregnant, but we haven't really been successful. So I said the nerves in the lower back go into those reproductive areas, and maybe we might be able to help her. I haven't personally worked on anyone, but I know it's basic science. We're basically like electricians for the spine. Your nerves travel at over 200 miles an hour. So it's like a dimmer switch. You turn the dimmer switch down and then you don't have as much electricity. Turn it up and then things work better. So in her case, she eventually came in and she was very hesitant. She's like, I don't have any lower back pain, so I don't know why I'm going to a chiropractor. And I said, well, what we'll do is check your spine and see if there's something out of alignment, and then maybe that might be a benefit for you. So she's like, well, I already know what my problem is. And I said, well, what is your problem? And she's like, well, they said I have inflamed fallopian tubes. And I said, well, why are they inflamed? And she's like, well, I don't know. They don't know. So she came in, and we took some pictures, and her hips were off, and her bones were rotated in her lower back. So we said, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to work on aligning this. So after coming in 3 times a week for about a month, She thought they had been trying for 7 years to get pregnant, and she was like 35, so she was watching her time clock kind of tick away. So she said, there's one more procedure that they can do that they haven't done, and I'm thinking of doing it. And I'm like, well, what is that? And she's like, it's kind of like a roto-rooter, where they go in and they kind of core open your fallopian tube and make it a little bit larger. The only problem is it creates scar tissue, so it's like taking a step forward and 2 steps back. So I said, well, you've been trying for 7 years and you've been coming in for a month. That's not that long, but we'll see. It's up to you. It's your choice. So she went for the procedure, and they said, we can't do it. And she said, why? And they said, we did a blood test and you're pregnant. So she was just like ecstatic, and her husband was ecstatic, and that was one of my favorite stories that I've treated over the years. And since then, I've had other patients that were having difficulty getting pregnant, that through working on their spine, some of them I've had to use some nutritional counseling, and they've benefited too. So it just depends on what the source of the problem is, but it's amazing what taking pressure off nerves can really do.